Brock Purdy has 5 interceptions in the last 3 games. A few weeks ago, there was a talk show host on CBS Sports Radio who had a take, and he said, and he does afternoon drive from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific. And all he said was, this is not a knock on Brock Purdy, but Brock Purdy is a system quarterback who maybe one day can turn into a franchise quarterback, but right now he isn't a franchise quarterback. And I told 49ers fans, don't worry about that analysis, because if you win at the end of the year, who cares what we call Brock Purdy? But there was talks of Brock Purdy earlier in the year winning the league MVP, and I laughed at that because that was one of the more ridiculous things that I've ever heard. And quite frankly, it was disrespectful to Christian McCaffrey, because if anyone's going to win the MVP from the San Francisco 49ers, it's going to be Run CMC. No disrespect, it's not going to be Brock Purdy. The last 3 weeks, we've seen the 49ers unfortunately suffer injuries. McCaffrey keeps on getting into the end zone, but he's not 100%. Debo's missed the last few games. And yesterday, we already knew Trent Williams was banged up, but he didn't play in the game. And it just shows you for the 49ers, who have now lost 3 in a row. And we thought, right, early in the season, you hear all these pundits, oh, the 49ers are unbeatable. Oh, the 49ers are great. Oh, the 49ers are about to go undefeated. I'm like, undefeated? They got some tough games on this schedule. They're a damn good team. But let's pump the brakes on the undefeated talk. And they lose to the Browns, they lose to the Vikings, and now they just lost to the Bengals. But it's not brain surgery here. And I don't even think Brock Purdy has been terrible, but he has not been able to elevate this team with fewer players around him. And you don't need a PhD in football to figure this one out. With how young Brock Purdy is in his career, he needs the players around him. And that's why when I look at the 49ers, I don't panic. Because the 49ers have been up and down before, and they always find a way to get to the NFC title game. It seems like each and every year they wake up there in the NFC title game, and they don't always have a season that goes smooth sailing from point A to point B, but they get there. So as long as you get Debo back, as long as McCaffrey gets healthy and you get Trent Williams back, Brock Purdy's going to play better. But it just reiterates once again, and this is not a knock, and I know all you 49ers fans are like freaking out about this. It just displays when you take some of the weapons away from Brock Purdy, he looks human. And we also forget that this guy started 5 regular season games last year, 3 postseason games a year ago, and that was it for starts in the NFL. He was a rookie. He was Mr. Irrelevant last year and became rather relevant in the NFL. So you're starting to get, when you combine last season to this season, a full season worth of Brock Purdy, which means 2 things. There's going to be adjustments by other teams, but also no one just goes into the league and dominates the league and doesn't even have some moments of adversity that they have to overcome, especially when they were the last pick in the draft. So sure, I didn't anticipate the Niners losing 3 in a row. I thought the Niners would lose yesterday, but I did not think that a few weeks ago we'd be sitting here talking about the 49ers in a 3-game losing streak. But here we are. But ultimately, outside of Philadelphia, there aren't a lot of teams, if any, that you really gravitate towards and go, oh, I love in the NFC. Like, who's the team? Dallas has been up and down, where they beat the bad teams, but they can't beat a great team like the 49ers. 49er fans ain't afraid of the Cowboys. The Lions, they were getting so much praise, including yours truly, and then they just got smacked by the Baltimore Ravens, where the Lions didn't even show up in that game. They scored a measly 6 points. Seattle's a good team, but they lost to the Lions. So outside of Philadelphia, who's 7-1, and just like the Bengals, they haven't played their best brands of football. Outside of Philadelphia, there's not a team in the NFC that the 49ers have to really be worried about. And that's why ultimately, as long as they are healthy, the 49ers will be fine. Now, I still don't think they get to the Super Bowl. I still don't think they win the Super Bowl. But they're going to be one of the last 4 teams remaining, and most likely, depending on health, and that's a big if in the NFL, we will see the Eagles and 49ers in an NFC Championship game, and it will probably once again be in South Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial Field. Here is Kyle Shanahan, the coach of the 49ers, on his message to his team after dropping their 3rd straight game.
My message was we got to take that. I mean, we didn't play well. That team beat us straight up. my bottom line to them was, we got to get better in every aspect. And the things that disappointed me today were some of the fundamentals of just throwing and catching, tackling, and some of those penalties that cost us.
You got to get healthy. That's what it is. You have to get healthy.